Hello, everybody. Just a bit of an update for the show before we get on into it. This episode and the one after have been pre-recorded as we go off onto our holiday breaks, which means that these episodes were recorded prior to all the news surrounding Insomniac and Naughty Dog, which means we won't be covering the factions multiplayer cancellation nor the Insomniac hacks the next two episodes. We will be talking about them in detail, as is our job and our obligation to you, the listener and viewer of the Trophy Room, when we're back in the studio on January 4th. So, with all that said, with all that out of the way, we still have some amazing shows that we had a ton of fun recording. So sit back, relax. Hopefully you're like me and you got your PlayStation Portal out and you're about to enjoy some Baldur's Gate 3 on the recliner. And let's start the show. Oh wait, no longer greatness has arrived. Welcome to episode 355 of The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, this week, it's a chill week. This week, we're just talking about the top PlayStation 5 games of 2020. That's right. We have our top 10 PlayStation 5 games. We're going to rattle them off to you. We're going to talk about the highest highs. We're going to talk about the biggest swings and misses. And of course, some of the biggest surprises that landed this year. But with all that said, with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson, how are you, sir?
Tired.
Same. You just got off of work. How you feeling?
Yeah,
how you feeling other than tired?
Other than the back and being tired, I'm excited to talk about the best games of the year. Try to do my due diligence before the Platties.
Sure.
To play things I missed that we have nominated, and let me tell you, I'll get into it briefly in a little bit.
Oh, really?
Oh boy, there is a game that it's all I can think about the last 2-3 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's gonna make Platties very interesting.
Okay. Oh, really? Holy crap. Okay. All right. Well, listen, since this isn't a live show like we normally do, because as a recording, it's the end of the year, so we're actually pre-recording this to have a little vacation ourselves. We actually asked the Discord as well for some of their biggest games this year, so we're going to litter them in as we talk about our top games of the year, Kyle. That being said, Kyle Stevenson, question for you before we start rattling off the list here. Are you kind of surprised that it's already the end of the year?
Yeah, that's a big yes. Big yes from me.
One of the guys in our Discord literally was just like, oh right, Resident Evil 4 came out this year. Like that was a game that I played in March.
March?
Exactly. And it's like, that seems so far away. Honest to goodness, the PlayStation wrap-up helped me out a whole deal when making this list, because it's like, what games did I play? It just felt like a tsunami of content. I've been playing games nonstop since January. You know?
Are we going to talk about our wrap-ups here?
No. We've actually, Kyle, how time works, we've already talked about our wrap-ups.
Whoa, it's crazy.
I know. I can't believe where Fortnite was.
What's going on?
It's an enigma. That said, Kyle, let's talk about your number 10. First and foremost, in really no particular order, because we want to save some surprises for the Platties.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, fuck me.
I was gonna say, where's Patreon pitch?
Oh my goodness! All right, let's.
We gotta shout out the people, Joe. No, leave this in.
I know.
Leave this in. Shout out the people.
All right.
It's the end of the year. You know what it is.
I've been drinking so much nog. Listen, before we start our list, let's talk about and talk about how thankful we are for our patrons over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. It's like we say each and every week. If we ever got you through a long car ride, a tough day at work, whatever your situation may be, it really does help us out if you toss us even a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy. It's the reason why we look so good, sound so great, is your generosity over at patreon.com/PS Trophy. I want to thank our premium producers, Todd Burowitz and Toxic. I want to thank our platinum members, Drellish, Jay Shea, Jedi Master Ren, Cowboy Danger D, Jonas Young, The Green Gorilla Gamer, Chaotic Monkey, Millennial Falcon Gaming, Ryuko Kill 90, Stephen Flesh, Shubles and Bits, Bertos Maximos, Chris, Hybrid 748, Matt Valdez, Chris the Wizard, Solo, Liam Russ, Silk Hannet, Desamine, Jadis Von Metal, Mitchell Gramlin, Liam Rust, and Jonas Young. I want to thank our golden members, Cypher Primus, Doth Simon the Pie Man, Jesse Garcia, JB the Purple Monkey, Hyde and Doyce, Katie, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Diaz, Marcus O'Neill, Red Arrow, The Aegis Hermit, Andrezor, Astronaut Jr., Winter Gamer, Robbie Bobby Miller himself, Brenton Zachary, Brenty Blob, Bubble Boy N7, Captain Logan, Final Fan XZ, Hambone, JD Dillinger, M9 Prime, Stone Cold ET, Tino Sixspeed, N. Johnson, Sean McKenzie, Rick Arrington, Spam and Bamman, Matthew King, Duh Overlord, Dewana Raksha, Rick Davis, Black Mavericks, and the Lord Commander himself, Suddy. Thank you all so much for your generosity. All right, now, yeah. Kyle, it is time.
We genuinely love and appreciate you so much. Like, if it wasn't for the patrons.
Yes, sorry. I'm skipping ahead way too much. I'm just too excited.
No, well, we're also in a little time crunch, so I get it.
All right.
You have another thing to do, which is totally fine.
It's true.
If it wasn't for the patrons, we would be years of progress behind.
Yeah.
We'd be so much further behind of where we are, and it's just it's incredible. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
If I could give a hug to every single one of you listening, but that would take a while because a lot of you listened, which is still crazy.
Mind-boggling. Yeah, from patrons past, present, and the future, thank you all so much. Because Kyle's right, like, the mics we got here ain't cheap. The cams that we got ain't cheap. The streaming software we got ain't cheap because God knows I don't know how to work any of it.
Well, my cam's pretty cheap.
How much was yours?
It's a Logitech. It's like 140.
That's a lot of money, Kyle. Inflation? That's
in this
240.
economy? Yeah, you know what? You're right.
You're right.
It's
that's
more
a
like
loaf of bread.
$8,000.
Exactly.
I bought this thing 2-3 years ago. It's more like $8,000 now. Yeah, you're right.
Jeez
you're right.
Louise. So yeah, thank you all so much because your generosity really helps get this show going. It's the reason why we're able to go to PAX in 2024. That's right, we're at PAX, baby. All thanks to really Kyle Stevenson because he applied for this.
Yeah.
And of course you guys for tuning in and watching, and honestly that moment was pretty special, so thank you all so much. We will be live at PAX 2024 March 21st to the 24th if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
awesome.
Because the showcase is the 20th, so it's the day afterwards.
God, I am so excited to see your face and get to touch it live in real
Play
time.
Some video games.
Oh, just be surrounded by it. That's gonna be so nice. I can't wait.
And you, if you're going to PAX, you best believe that we are submitting for some panels. You know what I'm saying?
And honestly, down in the comments, in the Discord, give us some panel ideas. Like, give us some show ideas.
Do you want us to do top tier live? Do you want us to do a full on recording?
Yes. Top tier.
Let us know. Do you want us to try to get a dev on and talk to him about a PlayStation game on the show floor? Like, let us know.
Let us know. That said, also the Platties 2023 voting is underway. Make sure, link in the description to vote on your Game of the Year 2023. Because of the Platties that will debut on January 11th, we're not, again, this list totally out of order. This is totally just us making it up, okay, as we go. All right, so there's no hidden meaning behind any of these games. They're all spectacular, all special in their own right. And again, we're talking about the biggest hits, the biggest surprises, and the biggest letdowns. So Kyle, I want to go with yours, number 10 on the list.
Ooh, number 10 for me is Spider-Man 2.
Ooh.
Flip. Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say about Spider-Man at this point? It is one of, if not the best superhero games ever made. Insomniac crushed it. I think it's one of the best narratives in a superhero game for sure, or just any game really. Like I truly enjoyed every single character's arc in Spider-Man 2, and wanted more out of each of them, which to me just it's not a knock on the game. It just shows you just how much I fell in love with the characters in
Yeah.
this. And I wanted as much as possible. Like I could have played easily another 20 hours and totally fine. Yeah, Spidey's real special. And if you haven't played it yet and you're waiting to see if good old Saint Nick is leaving it underneath your tree or in your stocking, I'm very much jealous of you. You get to experience it for the first time.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm a little bummed that I can't experience that platinum again, if I'm completely honest. Because Spider-Man 1, super rewarding platinum, one of the most rewarding. Spider-Man 2 just kind of ups it yet again. Like, there's so much great side content to that game. Like, I love the Mysterio fights, right? Like,
oh my God. So cool.
So good. Like the Sandman missions, like each one of them had like their own little build up, their own little side missions, their own little bits of importance that I really dug out of it. Mm-hmm. Some of it didn't land well, like the Prowler stuff I thought was kind of lame. But
you also are not a puzzle guy. Those are a little puzzly.
Even for me, I didn't need a guide for him. I was just like,
fair.
It's just lining up lines. It's kind of like the runes in Hellblade. That's kind of what it was for me.
Also, potential spoilers?
No, nothing. No spoilers.
Well, certain missions. I don't know.
What do you mean by that?
Some people might have not known there were Prowler missions in the game.
Oh, Miles Morales has been out for so long now. You know,
I get it. I'm just trying to cover our bases.
All right, fair enough. You don't get to yell at us.
Did
guys.
I yell?
No. The audience. Okay. Two people out there. Got it.
Send your worded mail, written letters to Kyle Stevenson at P.O. Box Shove It Up Your Ass.
Oh,
okay? You know what? Send it there.
All right. Wow.
I will get to him
Kyle.
promptly. You know.
Oh wow. No. But yeah, when it comes to the story, you're right. I think the way they wove in each arc into each other in just such a brilliant way, it did make me feel like I wanted more, not because it was like a hollow experience, but because I didn't want to say goodbye to all of these characters and wait to a Spider-Man 3. Like, it was just so, everything felt so damn earned. And I think, honestly, like, shout out to villains like Kraven, where, you know, honestly, you walk into it going, Kraven's going to be like the villain to hold you over till you see Venom.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he's not that, man. Kraven was a genius villain. I loved his arc. I love where it went. And same goes for each one of these characters. Each one of them felt fulfilled. And damn, man. When it comes to Spider-Man combat as well.
The addition of the parry, just getting everything on the shoulder buttons and no need to like slow down time, I think that just gives it such a boost in fun factor. Yeah. I understand some people like the slowdown, which is fine, but I think being Spidey and being quick on your feet and your Spidey quick reflexes, I think, are better in this because of the elimination of the combat wheel. What's the word I'm looking for?
The weapon wheel.
Yeah, but they're not weapons in this game. What are they?
Gadget.
The gadget wheel. Yeah.
Fantastic. Spider-Man 2, my favorite superhero game of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Insomniac, outdoing it yet again. That was also, Spider-Man was on my list as well, obviously. But my number 10, Kyle, is a little game called Synapse. I wanted to make sure that PSVR 2 got love here. Because I feel like it's been often overlooked or just pushed to the side, like it's not a real piece of tech, which we'll talk about a little later. But like, Synapse is a roguelite that feels so damn perfect in VR. It is so damn fun. It is like you mixed, the Matrix with just Force abilities and just put this like weird, like techno 70s like vibe to it. I love this game so much. It reminded me of like the art direction of like this, again, for some reason 70s aesthetic, but meets like the weird pixelized nature of like old like PC games in the 80s. And somehow it just mixes so damn well. And the enemy design, while it's not the most varied, I want to give a shout out to the sound team for each individual enemy, because oh my god, the runners, I'm getting the anxiety in my chest right now. Terrifying. You understanding where enemies are because of the sound and who just spawned in is really important. And of course, the death mechanic as well, super important to learn in Synapse. And when you die, it is just a way of like learning of, okay, so I know what I did here was wrong and how I could approach it. Synapse is honestly just genius VR work from the brilliant folks at End Dreams, and I can't say more positive things about this. Synapse was this game that looked promising from the outset, similar to like Horizon Call of the Mountain, but as Call of the Mountain is a great experience, truly is, it's a great experience. It's a stunner when you look at it. I think there's more depth in Synapse, and I think Synapse really did capture a lot of the VR audience much more than Horizon Call of the Mountain did. Also, Jennifer Hale and the oh my god, and the guy that voices Snake's in it.
David Hayter.
Hey, David Hayter, Jesus.
Yeah, it didn't make my list just because I didn't put enough time into it.
Fair enough.
And I'll just bring it up here. I think honorable mention to all the VR games that I played on PSVR 2. Mm-hmm. Tentacular, What the Bat, Call of the Mountain, Synapse, even NFL Pro Era. Oh my god, rhythm-based shooter that came out on PSVR 1.
Pistol Whip.
All fantastic games. It's just my back is not cooperating with me to be in VR for that long. So I haven't put enough time into VR as much as I wanted to. But when I did play them, those are stellar.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely going to be a little VR segment soon.
Sure, yeah. I just figured that because we don't have any more VR games on our list, so I wanted to.
Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Maybe I do.
looked it over.
Resident Evil 4 VR, baby.
Oh, right. I didn't know you. Okay, I didn't know you played that. My number 9.
Yeah,
gotta show some indie love. I love me some indies, as everyone knows. Played both the original and the new game this year.
Oh wow! Okay.
Didn't finish this one, but on what I played alone, it is one of the year's best, and that's Blasphemous 2.
Ooh.
The Game Kitchen just know what they want to do when it comes to a Metroidvania, Gothic, for lack of a better word, Bloodborne-esque world, grotesque creature design and NPC design and the goriness, the music, the art style, just everything. It just melts together into excuse me, a like perfect combination that I want out of a Metroidvania, because there's so many Metroidvanias. So how do you really stand out?
Yeah.
And I think this violent nature with this really interesting narrative, I think just it's one of the year's best. It's a great game.
All right.
And the second one expanded on almost all the faults of the first one that I had, where like
what?
Platforming is so much better in 2.
I like that.
The mantling, it feels better to jump. You don't feel as floaty. Your attacks are more fluid and quicker. And you have more weapon varieties in this one too, which is great. So like, Blasphemous 2 is up there. It's one of the best.
All right. I love how you gotta show some indie love. I respect it. I respect it.
It's not done. There's more on my list, but we'll get to it.
All right. Okay. All right. I'll take a gander. All right, number 9. I'm sorry in advance, but it is just how I feel. Hogwarts Legacy is a really great game. Sure. Hey, listen, take your feelings on the author aside, as have I. And what you have here, I think, is a pretty great package that delivers a lot of nostalgic love that so many folks have for that series. The wand play, or the magic abilities, the magic fighting.
Kinky.
Oh.
Wand play.
But like the combat while once you get the rhythm down, I wish that there was a little bit more depth in it.
Sure.
Dude, it still feels so great thanks to the DualSense features. Even like flying around as well. Like this game amps up the DualSense unlike any game I've played that is a third party and even a lot of the first party stuff. The way that they've utilized the DualSense cannot be understated. It's really great. And of course, how they use and kind of show respect for most of the lore in Harry Potter is really awesome. So this is a game that I enjoyed so much that it got me into the series, and I pirated. I mean, I borrowed from the library a lot, all of them.
Yeah,
all the movies.
I admittedly, like, you know, I've stayed away from this game.
Sure.
For reasons that everyone knows, I think, by this point.
Oh, we don't need to beat the horse.
No, but I did end up picking it up because it was a free game during Black Friday deal. So I do own it. I got it for free, made sure that was the case. And so I will be playing it over break.
Yeah.
So I'm excited
honest to God.
I'm excited from my nostalgia lens of what growing up reading Harry Potter is and being such a fan of the movies from the beginning.
Yeah.
Will I get the same punchline aside magic from it, you know?
I really can't wait for one of my coworkers. I got her, one of my friends, why did I say coworkers? I got her this game. She's a huge Harry Potter
She's
nut.
my friend from work.
She's a friend from work. I got her this so that like her and her husband, because she got her husband a PS5 for Christmas. Please don't be listening to this episode. And
Spoiler alert.
But yeah,
again, send your complaints to P.O. Box.
Yep, P.O. Box.
Shove them up your ass.
I'll be getting an angry text. So like, it's just like a really good way for like them to like bond. And I don't know. I feel like if you are a huge fan of the series, it's just a huge love letter to that to the lore. So yeah,
fair.
Yeah. All right, Kyle. What's your next game here? This is fun because I'm reading it. I've been playing it. You know. I got some thoughts.
Number 8. I hinted at it earlier. Baldur's Gate 3. It is the game I cannot stop thinking about. I did start it briefly when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then just that was when I got the new job, so time kind of got away from me, and I was trying to learn how to balance everything. Over the weekend, I went back to it. I restarted. Brand new character. I kind of felt like I had to.
Same.
Man, Larian knows how to make an RPG game. Knows how to make compelling characters.
Yep.
Knows how to make the impromptu kind of like moments of aha, like
the eureka moments.
Oh my god, or eureka. Thank you.
Yeah.
The eureka moments of like, oh, there's a pile of dirt I can dig. Let's see what's underneath there. Or oh, my perception check failed, and then the whole like, what am I missing here? What are they not going to let me see because my character isn't smart enough to perceive what's happening? It's like those little moments of just keep you engaged at all times. And I know the turn-based kind of combat is not for everybody.
Shouldn't be game of the year if it has turn-based combat. Everybody knows that, Kyle.
Again, those people, P.O. Box, shove it up your ass. I think it's just like as a fairly newcomer to D&D over the past few years, it is exactly what I want. It's exactly the type of game that I wanted to play. I've owned Divinity Original Sin 2 for a while now. Didn't really put a whole lot of time into it. Yeah. But this is making me rethink that, and maybe whenever I have time to go back and play, because I know that's another massive RPG. I mean, some of the best characters in a game this year.
Yeah.
Just thinking of all the VO in this game and having to have VO for every branching choice.
Who's in your party right now?
So right now I'm running around with Shadowheart.
Of course.
Lizelle.
Respectfully. What was the text I texted you today?
Oh yeah. I think she's hot. I was like, yeah, of course.
I said, one sec. I said, I have a question. I need you to promise you won't judge me first. Which I wanted that to sink in for a sec because I wanted you to go, what is he going to say?
Yeah.
And I said, why do I find Lizelle hot? And he said, I wouldn't judge. She is hot. There's something about her temperament. It's
like, absolutely.
All right, lady.
And then I'm rocking with Gale.
Little
wizard in the party. Astarian's at my camp. Will's at my camp. So I'm waiting for like certain story moments. Like the party that I have now, I feel like makes sense for the quest that I'm about to go on.
Yep.
And so then I'll switch them out when it makes sense for the other ones, which I love that is a possibility.
Yeah.
Or a thing you can do. Yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, real good, everybody.
Real good. It's so dense. And, like, there's so many systems at play. When people are like, oh, but it doesn't have the cinematic of, like, Miles going through a building in, like, Manhattan. It's like...
You can throw somebody off a cliff. You can pick up a smaller, lighter enemy and then use them as a weapon against another enemy. Mm-hmm. And you should do that because it is a trophy. Mm-hmm. And it is... amazing. They thought of everything.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like 2 different games can exist and 2 different games could be stellar at what they do. And I think both of them push their respective genres forward. And Baldur's Gate is one of those games that I think it might be the first game I play on easy mode because this combat kicks my
it's tough.
Ass, man. Every engagement is just, you got to think it through. You really have to painstakingly think of every move you're going to make, and
which leads it to the D&D nature of it, right? Like it's all comes down to a dice roll.
I've been losing the same piece of combat like for an hour now, and I'm going back to it like, what did I do wrong? How can I lure them out? You know, like some of the stupid mistakes I'm making, I'm learning.
What spell didn't I use that would make sense to use to help me out better in this kind of situation?
Exactly. So,
yeah,
to me, that's what I'm kind of. I'm right there with you. Baldur's Gate 3, I finished Act 1 on my Steam Deck, and then I was just like, again, life got in the way. Spider-Man happened, Lies of P happened, Alan Wake happened, and then I'm like, I'm going to go back. I think now's the time. I'm getting on board with all the hype, and I see it, man. This game, there were supposed to be 5 games I was supposed to make quick plats of, and this game has got its hooks in me. So,
yeah.
Good call. Good call. Yeah. Hey, Kyle, are you ready for this one?
Yep.
My number 8, Final Fantasy 16, Kyle. Are you proud of me?
I am proud. Did you go back and finish the story? Because I know you were... Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, awesome. I can't wait to tell you once we're done, or talk to you about it once we're done.
Well, yeah. Listen, they would have rightfully so to email you at Kelsey.
Yes.
Yeah. Stellar from start to finish. The boss fights are spectacular. They are mind blowing. Each cinematic is just. You're just standing there in awe. And though I'm not great at the combat, I've given up on trying to be good at the combat. I've put all the assist rings on. I go, there's only so much time in a day.
It's no shame.
No shame. This game made me not just intrigued into the Final Fantasy universe, but actively excited for Rebirth. Like, I am so hyped for Rebirth now that I've played 16. I am so excited to go back and to beat the Pixel remasters. And like hopefully during break I will have played Final Fantasy 7 on PlayStation Plus, the OG. So like I want to just give tremendous props to voice actors like Ben Starr, who voices Clive, because he absolutely crushed the role. Each one of these characters are so damn good. So, Final Fantasy 16, check a look at that game.
Yeah. Also on my list, and echo your sentiments. I think looking back on it as a the bigger of the Final Fantasy fans here, a massive fan in my own right. Clive is a special protagonist in the Final Fantasy universe, as well as Jill. I think they're both stellar. Yeah. 16's real good. Real good. If you are like oh my god, overcome with what's the word I'm looking for? If you think it's a hurdle, combat's a hurdle, looking at it like you think it's too hard for you,
put on those rings.
Put on the rings.
Yeah.
Just experience it. Experience the flashiness of it. Yep. There are certain icon battles that I was the biggest hater of them before we played this game. Do you remember? I was like,
oh yeah,
they look dumb.
Yeah,
like I'm not excited for it. Some of the best moments in gaming this year.
Yeah, accept the truth.
It's so special. Accept the damn truth.
All right, talk about this game. You always yell at me when you bring it up.
Let's talk about A Space for the Unbound, a game that Joe refuses to acknowledge is even a game at certain points.
It's not that I refuse to acknowledge. I forget
it came out in January. It was very, very early on this year. I think it was January, February. It's a super emotional slice of life game about an Indonesian couple of Indonesian kids, and something terrible happens. It's hard to talk about this game without spoiling it, but it hits on themes that I think everyone goes through. Like before we hopped on to record, we both had a little bit of a vent session where how like imposter syndrome is really kicking my ass lately, and there's a lot of that kind of talk in here amongst like anxiety, depression. And I know that doesn't sound like a very exciting game, but it is gorgeous. The music is beautiful. They have a full on content is meaningful, right? Yeah. The characters you're invested in the characters. And it has to do with the writing of the game. Fun little mini games there. It's really, really good, and I think it's criminally underslept on and not talked about enough. I'm happy that it was nominated at the Game Awards, but I think it still deserves a lot more than what it's getting.
Yeah.
Space for the Unbound, real good. Real good.
Number 7 for me, Kyle. What a difference. It really just shows how different we are as gamers. You have Space of the Unbound. I have Dead Space Remake. I mean, come on.
That's also pretty sad at points. A little depressing.
Very, yeah. But holy crap, man. I just want to give big shout out.
Little slice of life in space.
A little slice of life, Big shout out to the Motive team for creating... Not like a true to the original. It's
not a one-to-one.
It's not a one-to-one. I think they make some really smart, creative decisions with Isaac, like giving him a voice that gives him more, oh my goodness.
Gives him more character.
Gives him more character, gives him more reason to do the things that he's doing and why he's doing them. And then just getting the environment down of the Ishimura. And even just improving on it in certain elements. So like the space parts where before it was like, you got magnet shoes. Now it's like, just swoosh around. This is nice. Everybody loves this. So they made really great quality of life improvements in a lot of the missions that kind of didn't age well, while at the same exact time getting the essence of what makes this game click. It is a very... very where it matters, true to the original formula without it showing its age, if that makes sense. It's terrific. I love Dead Space Remake. It's one of my favorite horror games literally of all time. It's the reason why I'm in 2 survival horror games is Dead Space. It needed to be here, and I love it so very much.
Shout out to, I think they're procedurally generated, like the little jump scares.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because like things will jump out of you in certain vents, but it's not the same for everybody.
Yep.
And I really love how it kept you on your toes the entire time. Like you were like, yeah, you go in this room and this thing popped out. It didn't pop out for me in that room. Mm-hmm. Like I had different scares than other people. Like I love that. I love that they thought that deep into it and made that decision. It's cool.
Yeah. It's small, to Fog.
But they count up.
Shout out
to Fog. Yeah, not Fogs of War, but like atmospheric fog.
Yeah, shout out to the atmosphere. Literal atmosphere.
Perfect segue, Joe. Speaking about fog.
Ooh, okay.
Alan Wake. Alan Wake 2 is one of the best games I've ever played, bar none.
Are you up?
You up? I texted Alan, you up?
You up, Alan? Take it away. This game's special.
I mean, yeah, it's special. We both said it recently that we've been fans of Remedy since Control. Alan Wake 2 made Remedy for me day one, no hesitation, no matter what. I'm getting that game. Yeah. They just, everything was thought out, planned out, the details, the Remedy universe, the Remedyverse is all represented here. The performances, the narrative, the way it uses like the SSD on PS5 and just the way that game works is something I can't comprehend. While I will say like the combat isn't like game changing, but I think everything else about Alan Wake, the atmosphere, the characters, everything is just like super memorable. And New Game Plus just came out yesterday as of this recording. I'm already getting the itch to go back in to see the new story beats. And I have so many other games I should be playing.
Yeah.
But that's how good this game is, where I just want to hop in and play.
Yeah, life's been busy for me as of late, and Alan Wake 2's been taking me about a month and almost 2 months now to beat it. And this is how good this game is. It's still at front of mind for me. It's still like, I'm at the last chapter, let's go. But also that paralyzing fear of like, it's the last chapter, I'm scared. Alan Wake does, I think, psychological horror so well, where there are elements where I'm like, are you real? This mother ever is not real. Like, it's this, it plays with your psyche so well that I haven't had in a horror game in a really, really long time. Talk about Dead Space, the original. Every 15 minutes, I talk about it on the show. Every 15 minutes, I need to take a break because I got a little bit too scared. I needed to take a walk. Same here. It's come back with Alan Wake 2. It scares the living crap out of me so much so that I got to take little breaks here and there to get on through with it. But the narrative is incredible. And I'll echo it. Remedy is a day one for me. From here on out, they are just the masters of their craft. And to think that Alan Wake 2 would be in a Game of the Year conversation, we thought it would be in a Game of the Year conversation a year ago. Hell, same goes for Baldur's Gate 3. And they're like the front runners of every other award show. Like, big props. Alan Wake, the only thing that will make me stop waxing poetic about it is, you're right, combat is a really refined Resident Evil. It's the narrative that grips you, and it's the songs that move you.
Ooh boy, that soundtrack. Ooh boy. It makes me want to go out and play Quantum Break at some point.
Yep.
Just to see how far they've come from a game that a lot of people didn't really love, and just to see find the Alan Wake 2 in that, find the Control in Quantum Break. I'm excited to do that eventually.
There was an awesome post I think Benji Sales put out where it's just to think about it. Back in 2011, you had Sam Lake coming out going, we don't think we can't do a second one. It's just not viable on our end, unfortunately, because it didn't make enough money. To Alan Wake, to him on stage dancing his heart out, accepting awards for best narrative, for it hopefully selling incredibly well, which I know it sold well, so yay. Yeah. But
as soon as they say physical copy, I'm buying it.
Buying it. Buying it. I'm a dumb idiot.
Collector's edition? Yeah, I'll go in debt. I don't care. It's mine.
Do I get a thermos? Do I get a mug? Okay.
Yeah. Do you get your own deer mask? I don't know. Maybe.
Hopefully. Kyle, that was your number 6. I'm going to go for mine. Jedi Survivor. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Y'all know I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love it more than most. It's just so damn special to me. Jedi Survivor. You take the bugs out of it, which probably at this point it's been ironed out. But narratively, this is one of my favorite Star Wars. Just ever. I think they introduce things like a moral gray area better than most Star Wars content does. I think probably even the best it does, to be honest. Like what makes good or bad, or are those dynamics in a universe this large even just like realistic? It's really darn good, and the characters are just so well acted. I want to give a shout out to the voice actor that does Bode because he is just so damn good at that character. Same with Cal. I mean, Cal is a beloved Star Wars figure for a reason, and it is because of his performance. And, of course, the combat in this game. Switching up health, switching up stances, making it so that I felt like I was always switching up my combat, always switching up how I was playing to fit the way I wanted to play it. So like getting out a big two-handed hilt and just waving it around to like having a dual like lightsaber in just the span of a second. It was a really awesome mix match for the combat itself. And again, I can't speak highly enough of Jedi Survivor. It's one of my favorite games this year, and again, also a great way of utilizing that next gen tech as well. Some of those boss fights, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you know, you know. Number 6.
Very cool.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
My number 5.
Talk about it.
I can't believe I'm here to put this type of game on my top 10 list.
Talk about it.
Lies of P.
Yeah.
And by this type of game, I mean a game about Pinocchio.
Right. Right.
Lies of P has swept me up, and I still think about it all the time.
Yeah.
It is the way I think as a newcomer to FromSoft games and Souls games, played Elden Ring, played Bloodborne, a little bit of Dark Souls here and there. I think from a non-FromSoft developer, I think they nail FromSoft Souls combat.
Yeah.
I think Lies of P plays extremely well. The setting is awesome. I have no idea how they made me connect with Pinocchio and his story in this world, and Geppetto, and the fun, cool little twists here and there, and how they take the story that we all know and flip it on its head to like little Jiminy on your side being your like conscious and talking to you throughout. It's real good. Like yeah. I'm itching at going back because I started a New Game Plus run to go for the plat, and I want to try to plat it.
All right.
I want to try to plat it maybe before the platties.
Okay.
Because then besides Baldur's Gate, I would have every platty game, our Game of the Year nominee, platted.
Yeah. Oh wow.
That'd be really, really cool.
Oh, wow. I don't think time allows it for me, but
yeah. Lies of P is very, very good.
Lies of P's on my honorable mentions, just strictly because I have not beaten it. I'm not close to, I don't think. But honest to God, guys, Lies of P is so damn good. Like, you're right. I think there is no one that does it like From Software when it comes to, again, I mean, they invented the genre for the most part, right? Like, Soulsborne wouldn't be a thing without them. That being said, what NeoWiz and Round 8 have done with Lies of P has made it clear that not like, because so many others were kind of doing it to replicate it, and I think NeoWiz made something because they really loved a certain game, Bloodborne, and they were just like, if they gonna make a sequel, we will. And how would we build upon certain aspects of a Bloodborne? How would we build upon certain aspects of a Sekiro? And how would we marry these two? And how do we make it feel different by adding different weaponry that we loved in Bloodborne, but like how would we build upon that, and adding the hilt with whatever weapon combo you wanted,
which is a great feature, to customize like the legendary weapons. You can't do that too, but being able to swap out hilts and blades together to really min-max it up and to do some really fun, unique things, is awesome. Yeah,
and they do it so damn well. Like it again, it there is what feels like close to like 100 different weapon combos that you could just make and have fun with. So yeah, good, huge shout out to Lies of P.
Huge shout out, man. That sequel, who can't wait?
Can't
won't
wait.
spoil for everybody, but oh boy, y'all are not ready. For the people that are not even gonna touch this game and haven't looked up what the hint at is, when that trailer drops for the next game,
yeah,
people are going to lose their mind if they don't know what they has been hinted at.
Dude, I can't wait for the DLC. I mean, there's just so much.
God, yeah. They hinted at like the whale, I believe. Man, I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Just don't launch in February. For the love of
God. For the love of Christ. Yeah. For the love of Jehovah. All right, Kyle. My number 5 is a game that I can't wait to talk about with the community. And that is Sea of Stars. So as I sit here and I wax poetic about this game, understand that I have no firm connection to retro RPGs. Because I wasn't an RPG kid back in the day. I was a platformer boy, right? Give me all your Marios. Give me your Super Marios with a cape. Give me a Super Mario with a Tanuki suit. Give me a Super Mario where he fights Donkey Kong and Link and Zelda. I was a Nintendo boy. So there was nothing that was, Final Fantasy. Yeah, I heard of it, but it didn't intrigue me, right? So when I heard about this game that is based off the love of Chrono Cross, if I'm not mistaken, or Chrono Trigger. I was like, okay, neat. But what does that do for me? Holy crap, this game. Somebody drink every time we talk about how something's so well written. Because it is just, each character is just so unique that each one of them have their own unique little quirks.
Shout out to my boy, and I assume your boy as well, Garl.
Garl's my boy.
You're a real one.
Yeah, that's right.
I see myself in Garl so much.
So much.
Garl is just a special character.
Yeah.
He's really in because I don't think I'll be able to make it to the by the players or discussion with everybody, but in my eyes, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are, and I'll listen to the show as well. But Garl's the main character in Sea of Stars.
He's a person that I'd never want to put away from my party. If that makes sense.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Garl's awesome.
Yeah. The whole world is just beautiful. And Sabotage has just a unique way of spinning comedy in their writing that just feels like, sometimes we're going to break the fourth wall. We're going to wink and nod at you, but it's going to feel good.
Shout out to Yolande.
Oh my God. She's the best.
Who's doing constantly.
She's the best, man. But
Yeah, Sea of Stars is also on my list. As a lover of the old school RPGs, they did everything correct. Do I wish some of the cooler stuff in the end game was in the main game? Sure. But without spoiling anything, yeah. But it's very, very good. And the fact that this was a day one PS Plus game.
Yes, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
And day one Game Pass. It's just
exactly.
Holy crap. And it still sold gangbusters, which is awesome to see.
I'm so happy for Sabotage. They deserve it.
All right, so before we get into the top 4, Kyle, I do want to talk about a little bit of a topic, because as I was writing down my honorable mentions, and you mentioned it too, just honorable mention to PlayStation VR. I want to give I want to give you an us versus them scenario. You own both now. You could say it. You own a PlayStation Portal and a PlayStation VR 2.
Mm-hmm.
Have they impressed you, or have you started to regret your decision buying both of them, one of them, either of them?
Mm-hmm. I regret nothing. I love them both. They're both very impressive to me. Yeah. While I haven't done VR a whole lot because of my back, that doesn't take away just how impressed I am with the tech and how so much better it is in PSVR 1.
Oh my God, so much so.
That screen door effect looking back at PSVR 1 was so bad. And this one is so crystal clear, and the way what we know now is the foveated rendering, where you look at something and it renders where you're looking because it's tracking your eyes, and
which is nuts.
Because like if you're in a room with somebody, you're watching videos of someone capturing the screen of someone playing VR. It's wild that you can tell exactly where they're looking. Yeah. Because that is the sharpest and the most in contrast, and textures are in. But everywhere else is like not as great because it is tracking your eyes, whatever. Tech is crazy. So like VR2 is great. The Portal has changed my mind completely on remote play.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
I definitely see the value of it now. I still don't think I would ever use my phone for remote play.
Yeah.
Because like this is like the perfect form factor.
Yep.
It is like the controller. It is straight up just a bigger Vita in my eyes, without like its own proprietary games, which whatever, it could be seen as a downgrade. I wouldn't mind some Portal exclusive games maybe, or just call it Vita 2. I don't know, but yeah, they're both like me watching football on a Sunday and still playing Baldur's Gate is like a game changer for me.
Yeah, for me, I regret nothing. I love my PSVR 2 a great deal. I think the one thing with VR, it's still the problems. Like you get home from work, what do I want to do? Wave my arms in the air?
Exactly.
Probably not. So that's why I feel like still VR has a way to go to bring more people in, because it's just not as accessible as is a Portal, where it's like, all right, I'm just going to sit on the couch, I'm going to watch the game, and I'm going to play on my Portal, and I'm going to let my ADHD just run wild. Right? So I think that's what the Portal does so goddamn well. So like if I had to pick a two, like if I had to toss one of these babies off a cliff, like the Spartans used to back in the day, before we all went soft, I would have to say I got to toss the PSVR 2 out for the PlayStation Portal. I just love the Portal so goddamn much. Doesn't take away from the PSVR 2. Like, I love all the functionality of it. I just wish PlayStation loved it a little bit more. If that makes any sense. So, like,
absolutely,
because there's great games.
Any peripheral, I think they do better job at highlighting a little bit.
Fair enough. Because, like, you got like games like Arizona Sunshine that just came out. Show that game off more, So it's some of those things that get me frustrated on PSVR. It's nothing about the teams or the games per se. It's just, I think they do a lousy job spotlighting those games.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, Kyle. Let's get back into the next two games on our list.
Yeah, which are the final two.
Are they really?
Two each, yeah. Because we had some cross games.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
I'll leave the last shared one together because we have one shared one left.
Okay.
So my other top 10 of the year is Dredge, a game I didn't watch any trailers of before I played. I just heard people are loving it. I saw the tweets. I know it's a fishing thing, and I hopped in, and it took over that entire weekend.
Nice.
And the horror aspects of it are so cool, and how the sense of like explorability and being able to literally go anywhere, but know that there are some terrors that are going to come out and try to take you down. The minigame catching is super fun and unique and varied. It's got that thing I love from Resident Evil with like the briefcases and trying to make sure everything fits. You got that on your ship, just making sure they fit in your little grid on the ship and upgrading it so you can fit more. It's a special game. I'm glad people loved it. I'm glad I played it and bit the bullet on something I didn't know I would like. And I guess I like fishing in games now.
Sea of Stars actually taught me that. The minigame is so damn fun. I'm like, I just want to just load back in so I can keep on fishing.
Exactly. Yeah, Dredge is real good.
Funny enough, Kyle, I did download Dredge the other day.
Sweet.
It's hopefully my break game. So while people are listening to this episode, I'm probably playing Dredge right now.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. It's like a shorter experience. So yeah, I'm excited to hear you talk about it.
Well, I do want to get into some honorable mentions before we talk about the last game game on the list here.
Well, you got one more.
Do I have one more?
Yeah.
Oh, hot day. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Look at this. Shout out to Diablo 4. Holy crap, reminding me that Blizzard could still make one heck of a game. Shout out to y'all. I love that story so much just because of how epic each piece, each act was. Like, it was always a perfect ramp up from act to act. Classic Diablo, like, just storytelling at its peak, giving us combat that, for the most part, is incredibly deep. We talk about how Baldur's Gate, you can, it's dense. The trees and the builds that you're able to build in Diablo 4 is so gosh dang expansive that it needs to have its roses for. That being said, too, it has without a doubt the best cinematic I've ever seen in a game, where I literally put my controller down for 10 minutes just to watch literal hell break loose, and it was divine. It was epic. It felt like, yes, this is what has been missing from Blizzard for decades. And of course, it's the classic ARPG that we know and love. No one does it better than them, and it shows. Diablo 4 is freaking tastic. I love it so much. And it's my most played game this year, Kyle. Over 200 hours of Diablo.
Rookie numbers.
What are you pulling?
My most played game, the show's over 400.
Well, you got a problem.
It was fun. I mean, we'll talk about it. The time works, whatever episode it is. Scrolling through like your most played game by month.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 5 straight months of MLB The Show.
Yeah.
On the cover of that thing. It was like, oh, all right.
Makes sense.
It was apparently my most played game in November, and I don't remember playing that much in November.
Wrapped, the PlayStation Wrapped was there's fuckery afoot, for sure. There's some of the, like, Cyberpunk, I did not put 125 hours this year into it. So,
ooh, okay.
Yeah, some of it was a little tricky. Some of it a little finicky. Now, because I'm dumb and I forgot how this list works.
You're not.
Our honorable mentions. Kyle.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Hold on.
What?
Do you want to say the last game of our top 10? Or
No,
you want to say that after honorable?
Every Watch Mojo, it's right before number 1. It's the honorable mentions.
Oh, sure. But even though this is in no particular order.
No particular order, but it's still
fair.
Watch Mojo rules, Kyle.
I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah, I respect the mojo. Yeah. And this goes for some non-PlayStation games as well. Just games that I really enjoyed. Happened to be on Nintendo, happened to be on Xbox, happened to be on PC. That type of stuff. First and foremost, Assassin's Creed Mirage. Gosh darn, that game came to me when I really needed something to dive deep into, when I was at a really low point saying goodbye to Marty. So shout out to Assassin's Creed Mirage for getting me through. Even when I had COVID and I was losing Marty, it was that game that kind of saw me through. So I'm so grateful for that. Burning Shores DLC. Kyle.
Also on my honorable mention.
Yeah, let's talk about it for a second. Horizon, to me, is always better when it's on the second playthrough. It hits better. It hits harder. Happened with Horizon Zero Dawn. I played it for a week. Zelda came out. I was addicted to that for like a month and a half. Came back to Horizon Zero Dawn after E3, RIP. And it was my favorite game that year.
Mm-hmm.
Same goes for Burning Shores, man. That game made me a game that I already really liked, Horizon Forbidden West, but then made me appreciate it even more so. Oh my God, so good! Great uses of the PS5. Some epic boss fights.
Yeah, that ending boss fight is nuts, and one of my favorite areas in video games. And in Horizon, the theme park that you get at the end of Burning Shores.
Yeah, and I love the water
that area
as well.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Also, my dog's yapping
Horizon
in the back.
Again?
I apologize.
Am I playing Horizon again?
I think you should play Horizon again. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Forget everything else. Bye, Baldur's. I'm going back.
And I apologize if we're crate training the dog, and she is not a fan.
Owen's upstairs doing something.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, we're also crate trading Owen. That's a joke. That's a joke. Again, send it to PO Box.
Guess what? Yes. I like how that's the running joke. And then Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom for again building off a really strong foundation and making something where the devs just got to show off how goddamn talented they are. Like there's 6 new abilities in this game. Just one of those abilities could have been built on in a sequel and been like, oh yeah, that's great. 6 of them blows your mind. It turns the game into essentially like a Minecraft-esque type of adventure. It's nuts what people are building, from like helicopters to racing cars to tanks. And then just the story is so good. And I think it's going to be, for me, the most memorable way you get the Master Sword. Because that was really good. Oh, also, hey, I played this game called Starfield. Don't know if you heard about it, but I put... Oh my god, that was a big part. She did not like what was just... She got very nasty. Holy crap, man. That game's really fantastic. That actually is, I think, my biggest surprise this year is how much I dug Starfield, because there's a year-plus record of me going, I don't know why everybody's so excited for Starfield. It just looks like Fallout. It just looks like, something not too special. And I remember being on record of saying, yeah, I actually like, I'm actually getting the vibe of Redfall more than Starfield. Boy, oh boy, I was real dumb for thinking that. So Starfield, again, once I got rid of it's not like a Zelda where exploration's the thing. It's really the lore. It's really the mini stories that hook you just like any Bethesda game would. Once I pretended to be the Mandalorian, that game clicked in a way that I was surprised it clicked for. So shout out to you, Starfield. And shout out to my dog, really yapping her brains out. Oh, it's been a tough month. Kyle, what are some of your honorable mentions?
And Fortnite, you wrote Fortnite down too.
Oh yeah, Fortnite, man. What this team?
What is there to say about Fortnite anymore?
Exactly. Just what they've been able to do on a yearly basis, the content that they are able to keep pushing out and keep growing that audience is spectacular. The rocket racing, the Lego integrations. Oh, fantastic. The OG map being re-put in for a month. Awesome. All of it. Just the shooting mechanics. The animations being reworked. Just the constant communication that game has with its audience. I think every other studio just pines for. So, sure, Fortnite. Yeah.
My honorable mentions, MLB The Show. Put 400 hours in it. I know it couldn't make the top 10 because it just can't.
Yeah.
Not allowed. Putting all that time into it.
You're staticky again.
Am I?
Yep. Pop it in, pop it out. Just like your elbow.
We good?
Let's see. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're good.
Bob Booey. Okay. Me putting 400 hours in, even I know it's not my favorite MLB The Show. It's up there, but there are some things. It was way too grindy this year, but I still had a ton of time with it.
Okay. It's Dead happening Space. Again. What's going on here? Pop it in, pop it out. Everybody, technical, we got to get you a new wire for the mic. I'll ship you out. Patreon.com/PSRoofroom. When stuff breaks, we're able to fix it because of y'all. And as irritating as it is, I hate when stuff just malfunctions. Doodads and hickory doos not going in the right sockets,
Hello?
Hi.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Dead Space is also on my honorable mention. Yes. Played through it for the first time with the remake. Had a good time, but just wasn't up there. Burning Shores, we already talked about. Honorable mention to Cocoon. Cocoon is super good. Very good puzzle game.
Yeah.
Short, on the shorter end. And there are some, head-scratching puzzles, but I think it's well worth your time because of how beautiful it is.
Okay.
And just the concept of it is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Shout out to Goodbye Volcano High. Dinosaur, Emo, high schoolers
It's
and our
not
punk
well,
rock
it's
fans.
not.
It's a really good time. The music's great. I dig the characters. I gotta finish it, so that's why it's in honorable mentions because I didn't finish it yet.
Fair enough.
I got swept up with Lords of the Fallen last week.
Oh, yeah.
Had a good time. Little bit on like everything that Liza P does so well.
Mm-hmm.
Lords of the Fallen does things differently and in a not so fun way.
Okay.
But I still love the concept and had a good time with the time I played it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll go back eventually. I just got too frustrated and I had to take it out of the console. And then the only non-PlayStation game that I want to shout out, because literally all the other ones I'm blanking on,
Sure.
is Tiny Thor. Tiny Thor is an old school retro platformer. Think of a Sega Genesis classic like Sonic, and you got Tiny Thor, and you throw your Mjolnir around, you collect gems, you attack hordes of enemies. It's hard. It's real hard, but it's fun. And Tiny Thor is well worth your time.
All right. Last but not leastly, before we get into the number one, not really number one because there's no, Watch Mojo number one.
Yeah, wait for the platties. You'll know what our number
wait
one
for
is.
You'll see. You'll know. You'll clap.
Please clap.
It is the biggest letdowns. Diablo Season 1. Ooh-wee. What a hot mess. What a disaster. Honestly. What a way to kill momentum of people that were really digging that game for the first month or two of it being out, and then Season 1 happens and it's just like we're nerfing every single character and making it incredibly grindy and unfun. Does that sound like fun? They're like, no, you literally said unfun. You're like, sure we did. All right, have fun. It's like, what? Make it make sense, Blizzard. But from what I hear, Season 2 has gotten that game way back on track, so I can't wait to dive back into it, and I will be getting that platinum very soon. I am literally like three trophies away from that plat. I'm getting it. Then last but not leastly, Modern Warfare 3. Man, this episode's longer than that campaign, Kyle. Ooh. Can't wait for 2 developers to get very upset. So, yeah, no, Modern Warfare 3 was abysmal. I don't like that campaign. I really think it leans on nostalgia of the Modern Warfare 2 maps, from 2008. Way, way, way too much. I don't like the time to kill. When I tell people this, I always get like, they're like, it's just because you're not as good as it. I'm like, no, it's just the game's faster, but it doesn't reward you for being fast. It wants you to stick to a zone, and I absolutely can't stand it. So Modern Warfare 3, man, as hyped as I was walking into it, I can't wait till it's off my hard drive.
Fair.
Yeah.
I only have one letdown, and you're gonna get mad at me, but we can discuss this during the podcast.
Yeah.
It's actually one of your top 10 games.
You're gonna say it. Just say it.
Yeah, Jedi Survivor is a big letdown for me. Not because it's Star Wars. I like Star Wars. I think the issues that I ran into it, the further away I am from that game, detracts my experience of that. And just the fact of like, I was gonna go for the plat. I had a lot of things to clean up, and that game constantly crashed on me and constantly took back 45 minutes, hours of progress, where like I think about putting it in just to finishing it up, and I'm just like, no. There are other newer games for me to play, things that I'm excited for, my backlog. Maybe one day I'll go back, but like I loved Fallen Order. There's just something about this one that I think felt too safe in some regards.
Okay.
I love Cal. I love Bode. I love why am I blanking on her name? The Night Sister. Marin.
Marin.
I love Marin. I love Seer. I love all the characters, but it's just
Greasy
something
money,
that
baby.
Greasy money, baby. Z, it's great. Scuba Steve. Scuba Steph.
I did not like Scuba Steph. Everybody else, I'm like, 2 on the nose, guys. Come on.
Yeah, there's just some things about it I didn't gel with, but so that was my biggest letdown.
Fair enough. And I agree to that extent of like the bugs at launch were so bad. It was so So bad. So yeah, I totally understand your frustration there for sure. All right, Kyle. It's time for the final top PlayStation game of
Yeah.
2023. We've gotten through a
Mm-hmm.
whole bunch of them. It's finally time to talk about. You want to say it with me? In 3, 2, 1. Resident Evil 4
Resident Evil 4.
remake.
Yeah.
Holy,
Yeah.
holy crap! This game's
It's real
fantastic.
good. It's really, really good.
It really is.
I mean, let's just set the stage. We weren't gigantic fans of the OG.
No, we
We
weren't.
recently played it like, within the last few years as
Yeah,
part of Road to Greatness, where we saw the appeal. Just something about it just didn't. It wasn't this game changer of like
yeah,
one of the best games ever made.
yeah. We
With
do.
this remake, though, yeah, it's definitely up there.
Yeah, we don't have the luxury of having to have played it in '05,
Yep.
right?
With
So
the
like
chainsaw controller and everything. Did
all
not
of
do
it.
that.
we didn't fly too close to the sun back in '05. But what I will say is that Resident Evil 4 remake is what I when I think of Resident Evil 4, that's it. Like I do see
Yep.
this as the perfect remake of like it's faithful. It's a faithful adaptation for sure. But at the same exact time, they take turns or they take twists and turns that the original took that deviates it a bit from its original. They take some boss fights out because they don't make sense. They put some boss fights in that do make sense,
Mm-hmm.
and they make it a product that makes sense today. That stands on its own, beside its predecessor.
They didn't change things just to change things.
Yes.
They changed things to make it better.
Yes,
And they didn't miss on any of those changes.
like the combat. I think a good remake is when you think the combat didn't change, but it did. Because the combat feels so damn good. It feels as good as like you played it, when it originally came out. Which when we played it, we are like, yeah, it's aged, but this still feels really good, even for something in 2005. So like you can understand where Dead Space and Last of Us get its inspiration from. But on the same exact time, you now go back to that game, and I just can't. Whew, it's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it in VR? You mentioned you were playing in VR.
Oh, I just said that to get your goat.
Okay. Because I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, no.
Of how it, just any Resident Evil game works in VR. Because there are moments where it's pretty fast paced.
Oh yeah, it's pretty spooky, scary. I don't know if I have the wherewithal to do it, but Resident Evil 4, man, incredible. Kyle, anything you want to add about Resident Evil 4?
No, and like shout out to the Separate Ways DLC as well.
Yep.
Love, because didn't play that when it was when we played the OG. So
Yeah.
nice little added bonus there. Yeah, I think you nailed everything. It took what I did appreciate from the original, and gave it to me here, and changed it enough. Not even just like bosses, whatever, but like the fact that like the chapel falling down in the first village,
Oh my god,
and make you rethink of like how to get around and blocking certain things off and whatnot. Like, it's fun. That's a good way to remake an older game.
Absolutely.
It's not just put a fresh coat of paint on it and ship it out, but like to change things up enough to make the hardcore fans rethink of how to play that game.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Those are the best PlayStation games of 2023.
Yeah.
What a year, Kyle.
What a year.
At the end of the day, dust is settled. Has this been the best year in gaming? In terms of game releases. Not the awful
thank you.
layoffs.
Thank you. Yeah.
Put that
I was going to say,
asterisk
it's like
in
a catch-22.
there. Yeah.
As far as like when I look at my top 10 lists from what we just went over, some of my favorite games of the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Hands down. And the fact that we got so many of them, and also like so many of these were out in the last 5 months. Like they aren't really sprinkled out throughout the year. Like a lot of them are very recent too.
Oh yeah.
Is wild. It's been a wild year for games.
Yeah. To me, I think there's no even debating this is the greatest year in games. I think there's just so much great here, not just on the PlayStation side. Again, Mario Wonder, Starfield, Redfall, that was a joke. Hi-Fi Rush, Tears of the Kingdom. Like, there's just so much as a whole that you just can't you can't argue. To me, at least, this is my favorite year of video games, bar none. So it's a year that I felt like I played the most outside the COVID year. That's it. This year is something special. Something special. That said, Kyle, that's all we got for this special episode of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast. Anything you want to spotlight before you get on out of here?
Depending on when you are hearing this, hope you had a happy holiday. Because I don't know when you're putting this out.
A week before Christmas. So, yeah, hope you have a happy holiday.
Hope you have a happy holiday. We love you very much. We'll see you next week for what we're recording tomorrow night. And we love you very much. Thank you for everything.
Time's an enigma. Yeah, thank you all.
Vote in the Platties.
Yes.
Tell somebody you love them. Tell a dev that you love them.
Yes.
They definitely need to hear it this time of year. So,
honest to goodness, there's been so many great games that came out this year. The least you could do is, add them on Twitter, add them on Insta, wherever, Threads. I heard that's a play. Send them some mail.
Tell them you appreciate their sacrifices and hard work to allow us to sit on our couch and play video games.
Yeah. Couldn't say it better myself. And of course, you're right, Kyle. Go vote in the Platties. Link in the description. Vote on your game of the year. Vote on your best actor and actress. Vote on your best performances, best visual design, all that jazz. Vote in the Platties, please. We put a lot of hard work into it, so it'd mean a lot if you took that click. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody, keep your wits about you. Keep hunting. Keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.
Love you, but again, P.O. Box.
Oh, no.
Shove it up your ass if you have any complaints.
Love y'all.